Well, hello and welcome along to the Andrew Eborn Show with me, Andrew Eborn. I'm delighted that a very special guest, this fantastic new recording out today, or coming up, Valentina Keys, how are you?
Very well. Hi. Thanks for having me, Andrew. Nice to meet you.
It is lovely to meet you. And I'll tell you what, it's not just nice to meet you in this forum, but you have been brilliant at doing your research because I see all over social media, your name has been popping up feed because we're connected now on LinkedIn and on Facebook and we're following each other on Twitter, which is brilliant.
Yes, that's the modern way, isn't it?
It is the modern way. All do your research. So we're now world experts on each other, which I think is really good. And what the great thing about social media as well is we see that there's lots of little common threads because you will know that
There is.
you'll know we share lots of people in common. We've only just realized this in the last nanosecond, but we have lots of common people. We have both of us are lawyers by background as well, which is brilliant.
Yes.
So we love all that stuff. The big difference,
It
however,
helps.
you can sing, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure that my lungs are good enough for that, but it's going to be good.
Interesting, because I saw you're connected to Dr. Voice, because he's, of course, my vocal coach and my spiritual guru, shall we say. He's an amazing human being.
And how did you meet him? And we look at those wonderful connections. How did you meet Dr. Voice?
Well, I had training with him, vocal coaching, a few years back, and he's an incredible person. You know, we'd have a lesson and then we'd chat for hours, and then we'd look at the clock and it's like 3 hours past, so time to go home. But you know, he's a fascinating human being and an incredible singer and teacher as well. So I was very lucky to get a slot with him.
Yeah, I know.
Very indebted to him as well.
And I think it is these sort of wonderful people, and it's fortuitous, isn't it? It's those sort of little sliding doors. If you turn a different corner, as George Michael would say, we never would have met. But you suddenly, all of a sudden, realize there are 6 degrees of separation, aren't there?
Yeah, I truly believe that. Yeah. So it's very important to leave kind of a good track behind you, not burn any bridges.
Yes,
never you never know who is going.
So have you burnt any bridges?
You never know who knows who. No, I don't burn bridges. No.
Wise move.
No, I hope not. I try to build bridges. No, but you know, life is life and things get complicated.
And that all comes through in your music, which we'll come on to. But before all of that, I mean, you were born in Odessa, the Black Sea. Talk to me about those early childhood days.
Yes, I was born in Odessa. You're very well done on your research. And I spent the first 13 years of my life there, you know, growing up and kind of absorbing the Slavic, you know, culture and music, and studying at normal school and also the music school, special music school, where I learned piano and voice and composition. So, you know, I had my first composition class when I was about 8 or 9, and I was basically given the tools, the formula, the keys to how it's done, how to write a song, which, you know, was my favorite class. And then I think from then onwards, I felt confident enough that I can just write about anything. So
it is great, even at that tender age.
When you're a child, you are overly confident.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And it's what I was saying is that even at that tender age, to get given those tools, and you have some inspirational teachers. When you say there's a formula for writing, what was the formula they taught you just by the Black Sea?
Well, it's a secret formula. No, but my teacher, she showed me the structure of a song. You know, she showed me that there has to be a beginning, a middle, and then an end, and you know, that there needs to be kind of a motif, preferably a repetitive motif running through the song that is catchy. So really the basics like that. And I started out writing music to poetry, but then when I moved to Scotland, we relocated with our family to Scotland in 1993. I basically started writing lyrics because I felt like I had a lot to express, and music was a way of doing it. So My first songs were in Russian, and then I started writing in English when I felt more confident, speaking English and writing in English. So,
and
yeah.
what were those first songs about? Because I immerse myself in your wonderful world, and it's all pretty raw stuff you're talking about now, and every sort of bit of the human emotion, and you do wear your heart on your sleeve. Was that the early days as well? What did you write about when you were writing in Russian?
Yeah. Well, my very first song in Russian was about Odessa, missing Odessa, missing my friends and family, kind of paying tribute to that beautiful place in the Black Sea. And then I guess I wrote some songs about how hard life is and how love hurts, all those early emotions.
I tell you what, that is another common theme in your writing, is about how rotten the love life has been. This is like a sort of therapy session, isn't it?
Well, yes, it does. I think, emotions is something that kind of inspires me to write. When I'm happy, I don't feel like writing songs.
You've got to be miserable.
So I'm busy being happy, I'm busy enjoying things. So, but, now and again, things happen and somebody moves you, either moves you in a good way or moves you to tears. So, I think music is a good way of capturing that emotion, and because it can turn out to be something very beautiful, and something that people can relate to as well.
Yeah.
But
you tell those stories through your writing, through your songs. You did that in the early days, moving from the Black Sea to Scotland. What was the catalyst for the move?
Well, the catalyst for the move was my mom marrying for the second time, finding true love. Things didn't work out with my dad, so I was very young. So she met the love of her life, Dr. Roger Keys, who was teaching Russian at St. Andrews University. So that's why we moved, and it was a complete culture shock, but also a very exciting new chapter in my life. And this country gave me so much opportunity. I was very well looked after in my school in Scotland. It's called Madras College. I had private tuition in English, to get me up to speed with the language, and just had a lot of support, and started playing sports very quickly, taking part in music, kind of choirs and performances. So I got integrated very quickly into the culture, and so that was the catalyst. Love was the catalyst. Love seems to be the catalyst for it all.
Love is the catalyst for everything, really. I think that certainly is.
Yeah.
How did your mother meet the Russian professor from St. Andrews?
Well, she moved to St. Andrews for a couple of months to work. It was like a secondment, shall we say. It was an exchange between the two universities, the Odessa University, where my mom was working, teaching English actually at the time, and the St. Andrews University. So that's how they met. Both divorced, both kind of never thinking they'll find love again, and bang, it happened. The catalyst. And of course, you're a child, you tag along, so it changes your life completely. I wasn't happy at first.
You weren't happy at first? Well,
no, I demanded for about 3 months. When we arrived here, I demanded every day that my mom send me back to my grandma. I said, I'm not staying here. It's your life. I've got my own life to live. My life is in Odessa. Thank you very much. Please send me back. Please send me back. But luckily she didn't.
Well, but it's difficult, isn't it? Because whilst love may conquer all, as they say, is that you are a passenger for part of that. And as you say, your life was in Odessa. You had all your friends there, beautiful place. And you're basically being ripped out of it. I mean, St. Andrews, fantastic university, fantastic life. But you left all your friends behind, and quite difficult. It's not as though you can hop on the bus or go down the long tube line to go meet them again.
Yeah, very true. Yeah. But people are very adaptable, especially children. So I adapted very quickly and kind of integrated and made new friends, and music really helped me with that. I think it was a music lesson one afternoon, and our music teacher asked me to get up and sing a song, and I sang something in Ukrainian, and then got a round of applause, and everybody suddenly wanted to be my friend, and I became super popular. And I saw music as a bridge to friendships, to kind of as a bridge that breaks boundaries, and particularly language barriers, because I couldn't follow everything that people are saying. The Scottish accent was at times a bit too strong, and but that didn't matter. So music was always helping with kind of making connections.
Right. And what was the song you sang?
It was some lovey-dovey tune, from a Russian pop star, who went through a breakup, and she wrote a very sad song, and it just sounds very beautiful. It's not so much about the lyrics, but I think the melodies that these experiences inspire. So yeah, it was a very grown-up song to sing at 13.
And you're painting those sort of pictures, and that was your language barriers. You say you had to learn a bit more English. You're being torn out of your childhood home and brought all the way to St Andrews to learn that sort of side. Talk to me about then what happened next. You started to integrate yourself with the fantastic locals, learning about life in St Andrews. Tell me a bit more about those days. What happened?
Well, I became very studious. Suddenly, an A-star student at school. I think I tried very hard because I wanted to fit in and I wanted to prove myself. Back in Ukraine, I remember being completely uninterested in school and actually skipping a lot of lessons to go and watch films in the cinema. I don't encourage that behavior, but it did teach me about kind of life and freedom, and basically was more interested in music when I was in Ukraine. But then in the Scottish school, I realized the importance of education, and that if I want to make something out of myself, I need to kind of get on top of my studies. So my strength was languages, surprise, surprise. So I really exploited that. I did ancient Greek, Latin, Spanish, French, and got the top marks and everything. And that luckily got me into one of the best universities in UK, Cambridge. I went on to...
At Cambridge, you studied, in fact, you took that, you studied Spanish and Russian. I think those are your things, weren't they? Talk to me about Cambridge life, because going from fantastic university place of St Andrews to another glorious city of Cambridge, that must have been divine, wasn't it?
It was wonderful, and I felt so privileged and so humbled by the fact that I was accepted, I had an amazing time at university, because yes, I was working hard, but also meeting lots of fascinating people, and continuing with music, continuing with tennis. I think not just Cambridge, any university gives you that opportunity to develop yourself in different areas. So I just kind of capitalized on any opportunity to be a holistic person, to not just bookish, but also kind of continue with acting and performing and playing sports and just having fun.
Well, I think that's the key, isn't it? Putting the fun into dysfunctional. I think that's what they sort of work at. But you surround yourself with some superb people. The great thing about Cambridge and a lot of these universities is that you're mixing with other artistically gifted people. And that spurs you on, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, you meet a lot of like-minded people, and so you kind of bounce off each other. But I didn't write a single song when I was at university.
Oh, why
I had
not?
quite a.
Were you not miserable? That's the
I don't
problem. You're
know.
telling
No,
me.
I wasn't. I guess I was very happy. So I started writing again when I started training as a lawyer.
Yeah, and what a glorious journey you had being a lawyer, because you went to one of the finest law firms that there is, and one which I didn't go to. I went to a few others, but you went to Freshfields.
Yes, yeah, that was a great start to a career, which I thought would be a short one actually. And the main.
Bet you didn't say that in your interview at Freshfields. Well, I've come here, but I only want a short career in the law.
No, of course not. I say that with the best kind of intentions. I just didn't think that I would be good enough to stay long, but I thought I'd give it my best shot. Because I always felt like an artist, like a creative person, like a musician. I didn't really know how it would work out for me, but I was willing to give it my best shot, you see. But when I was doing my training contract at Freshfields, I did a seat at the environment team. And that's when I really felt a connection, like a calling. And so I thought, okay, I can do this long term. This is great. I really want to get stuck in. And so, from then onwards, I've continued to build that career, that specialist area. And, I'm still doing it.
Well, and you're doing it for some of the biggest things. I mean, you talk about feeling as though it may not be very long lasting, but you talk about the slight insecurity. Do you feel insecure?
About?
Well, you were saying you felt a bit insecure, wasn't quite sure if you were supposed to be at Fields and that sort of stuff. Is there that sort of underlying thing which is quite tricky?
Well, you never know how things will pan out, and at the time, law was something that was completely new to me, albeit that it's all about language and words and the use of words. So, the skills that I learned at university were very much transferable. But at the beginning, I really didn't know how well I'd do.
So
I couldn't imagine that I'd still be doing it 15 years on, and
right.
actually really loving it.
Going back to what you were saying, it's going back to what you were saying about the inspiration, and you need to be miserable to write. So during your time at Freshfields, were you writing a lot?
Yes, I was. I think it's because that kind of work is so studious and so serious. And very dry at times, that I guess the creative side of me was just desperate to come out, desperate to break through. And, so I think music very much kept my soul alive through that.
It is it's very tough. I mean, for those who don't know, as a trainee solicitor, you go to different departments, don't you, every 6 months, and you get experience within the firm. Which departments did you go to?
Gosh, you ask such detailed questions. No, it's great. Thank you for being so interested. So my very first seat was banking, and I tell you, it was soul destroying. So I did not enjoy that one bit. And then things started
lots of songs written during the banking period. That's what I'm going to.
Yeah, lots of songs written during the banking period. And then I think my second seat was corporate, and then I was sent to Barcelona to do more corporate work. It was fantastic. I was there for 9 months. Yeah, the hardest I worked, but doing late nights and everything. But then weekends were on the beach, enjoying the Barcelona beaches and the nightlife, and the culture, the architecture. It's a fantastic city. I'd go back there in a second.
Yeah, and did you all this time then? I mean, you're writing songs, and were you also performing as well as you were doing your training contract?
Yes, I was doing gigs kind of in different venues around London, and people at Freshfields knew that I just released an EP, and they were quite happy about me having this on the side. I did have a meeting with the grad rec head, and she asked me, Valentina, how serious are you about your legal career? And I said, I'm very, very serious.
Of course. What other answer would you give? And I love it here. I'm really happy. I haven't written any song. Yeah. I only write songs when I'm miserable.
Exactly.
But it is interesting. But I'll tell you what, Valentina, there are many lawyers in this profession, both sort of sides. I started life as a barrister, and there are many barristers. I used to live in the Temple. I had a scholarship flat in the Temple, which I was given for a year. You never appreciated it as a kid, but it was free for a year and a parking space, even though I didn't have a car. But you find that you would do the various dinners we had to do as barristers, but they would get you to perform as well. So I would often combine performance together with the legal career and so on and so forth. So there are lots of lawyers, so they'd be quite forgiving about that, wouldn't they?
Yes. I don't know. I mean, I don't think they minded. I think they liked it because I think I generated quite a lot of publicity for the firm, like in a good way, because it showed that lawyers have other side to them. They're not just boring and, working hard all the time. So I don't think that was a problem. That was never a problem. And when I moved to join the environment team at CMS, the reaction was the same. People are always very interested in what, in my musical career. And I got interviewed a couple of times, my colleagues came to my gigs, and I think it just adds another day. Everyone has a hobby, a special talent, and I think it's great when people in the workplace take an interest in what else you do, what else makes you kind of you. Yeah. As it were, because the persona that we have at work is just one side of us. We all have a different side to us.
We are all onions, aren't we? There are many, many layers to us. But in fact, as you say, it was publicity for the firm, because you were in fact one of the rising stars. That was an official title given to you, wasn't it?
Yeah, that I was awarded this title in recent years, as an environment specialist. I think clients took a liking to me, and they said very kind words, and there I was, rising star. So yeah, still rising. Let's see where that goes.
A stellar performance. Well, you've got a little cup behind you. What was the cup for?
That's for my tennis achievements. Yeah.
Who I won. Win that cup? Where did you win that cup?
So that cup was from Regent's Park. I used to play tennis there. It was like a doubles tournament.
Well, I know that I live by Regent's Park, so I can see over this computer here, I can see the tennis you would have played.
Really?
Yeah, Will Twin or something like that. That's exactly
right. That's a very nice place you live.
I do. It's lovely. Where
I'll have to come visit.
I know. I'm sure you. Where are you at the moment then?
St. John's Wood.
Oh, that's distance.
Just off Abbey Road. Yeah, we're neighbours practically.
We are neighbours. There's just the park between us, which is always a joy. I love it. So you still do your tennis. You still do performing at various gigs and so on and so forth. And talk to me about that, because London, and there's a wonderful venue just around the corner, the 229 Club. I think you performed there as well, haven't you?
Yes. Yeah. I've got to be honest, I haven't done any gigs in person. I've done plenty of online gigs, but during lockdowns, but I haven't actually sang to a live audience since September 2020. So really can't wait to get...
many people, Valentina, and I think this is what people are clamoring for, is to come to live gigs. Talk to me then about the online gigs. How have they worked out for you?
Well, it was great, to have that platform, because you can reach out to people in other countries. So, I was able to reach out to people in Russia, in Ukraine, in the US, Spain, Italy, France. So I think that's the benefit of these online gigs, because you actually can reach a wider audience than you normally would. So sometimes I'd do a gig in a pub, and it would just be kind of 30 people turn out, or even less. But with online streaming, I think it opens up a lot more opportunities, ironically.
Which is it's a very different sort of feel about it. I had Dean Friedman on the show very recently, and he says that he really likes doing the online gigs as well as the live gigs, because you have that sort of intimacy with the audience. You can have them all up on your screen where you can see what they're doing. You look into their living rooms, you see the cups they won in Regent's Park tennis court. You can see all that sort of stuff.
Oh, sure, yeah. If it does give you an insight into the artist's life, which you normally wouldn't get. The other benefit of performing at home is that I can play my favorite piano. It's my Roland, which is extremely heavy, and I can't take it to gigs, but it's got the most beautiful sound, and I plug my microphone into it. So it mixes the vocals with the piano instantly, and just creates this very nice sound, and I can't get that sound at gigs. So when I do them, outside. So yeah, that was definitely one of the perks of performing at home. And also, not having to carry all this equipment. You just kind of, put on your best outfit and sit down and tune in, and there you are. But of course, that's all dependent on not having, connection difficulties, Wi-Fi difficulties, because that also can all go wrong, and kind of can cause lots of headaches.
Well, I think nowadays,
but you can have technical difficulties at physical gigs as well. So
no, of course you do, and absolutely. But you're right, having not to carry lots of stuff around and come off stage and having to trump all the way back again, it's quite tricky. But being in central London, as you and I both are, there are lots of great venues around here. Do you have some favourites?
Yeah, I really love the 229 Club. I also love the Troubadour. I love the Finborough Arms. It's a special place. I always go back there. The library in Covent Garden is another favorite of mine. It's very intimate, but at the same time, big enough to fit quite a big crowd as well. Yes, and so many more. I don't want to single anyone out.
You don't want to miss out on those. There are many that you love, all of them with different.
I love all of them. I love all of them. There are so many venues where I still haven't performed at and dream of performing at. The Bush Hall, the Albert Hall.
The Albert Hall. There you go. From the Finborough Arms to the Albert Hall. That would be good. Well, and that's walking distance.
That's a headline. I like it. From Finborough Arms to the Albert Hall.
Come on, I write this stuff, it's gotta be good. Talking about great titles, lovely segue into that. Your first self-released, self-published album, Love Is. I like all this sort of stuff as well. You see, and then you did Love Is Love. Nice. You're adding a word each time to the next one, which is good.
Yeah, so you can guess what the third one will be.
Go on then. What Love Is Love again? I don't know. You get married twice. Love Is Love.
Yeah, that's it.
Perhaps Love Is Love, just in case. What is it? What's the third one going to be?
All of those are brilliant. I can't reveal it just yet, mainly because I don't know.
You can't do that. I mean, you can't do a drum roll moment and then say, what's going to happen. When is the album coming out?
Well, I can give you an exclusive, actually.
Oh, then.
So the third one, I don't know yet the exact date when it will be coming out, but it will definitely not have the word love in it.
No, has love gone from your life?
For now, it has. Yeah.
This is tragic. I thought we came up with so many different things. So is it going to go the other way? Is it going to go even darker?
I wouldn't say that it will go darker, but it will still have a James Bond-esque feel to it, and it will. I can give you a clue. It will be James Bond type songs, which is one of the main directions in which I write. So obviously, All For You, this recent track, is very different. It's something new I'm trying. It's very summery, very poppy, very happy. I hope you noticed.
Oh, no. I was happy when I was listening to it. It's all got to be good. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah. So, and then the third one will be a mix of happy and sad and just, life, really, But there won't be a word love in it. So
Love has
That's the
gone.
exclusive.
Love has gone. You can cross it out. Maybe on the cover, that's what you could do. Will there be unicorns?
Love is always there.
Love is always there,
Never
someone.
gone. Love is always there.
Will there be unicorns? Because that's the other thing I love. You're thinking about unicorns.
Oh yeah, Unicorns at Heart. Yeah, that's a tune I wrote in lockdowns, and it's really a tribute to all the heroes, the everyday heroes, that not just the NHS workers and everyone else who are in the front lines. Obviously, a huge tribute and thank you to them, but also the people, just the everyday heroes in our lives. Our friends, our loved ones, our boyfriends, our girlfriends, our parents, everyone who has who has helped us get through the day, particularly in recent times. So they're the unicorns at heart.
What I loved about
they're magical.
What I loved about Unicorns at Heart as well was the wonderful video that accompanied it with the animation sequence. I thought it was beautiful.
Yeah, that's great.
How did that come about?
Thank you. Yeah, I was very lucky to meet Valo Vasconcelos at MIDEM. It's a musical industry
I've been there many times on the beach. They moved it from January to June time, and virtually now. But yes,
exactly. Good knowledge. So he was very inspired by this song. He was really taken by it, and he very kindly offered to do the animation video. So so that's the result of that wonderful collaboration with Valo. Yeah, and I'm glad you liked it. I think that the animation really captures the sentiment.
As you on the piano and everything else, it looks wonderful. It's got that wonderful sort of childlike fairy tale look about it. But actually, the lyrics, it's that juxtaposition of this sort of glorious fairy tale animation. But the lyrics are really quite dark. It's going back to what we were saying beforehand. We're all damaged is one of the lines, isn't it?
But that's not dark, that's just life, if you're not damaged, you haven't lived, you've probably been hiding under a rock.
That's a great line. If you're not damaged, you haven't lived. That's your happy place. It's going to be good. But you are right. I mean, we are all the same. It's Shakespeare, isn't it, who says, look, if you prick me, do I not bleed? If you tickle me, do I not laugh? You work on that principle. And this is why I think your music really can associate with different moods, different people say, look, I've been there, I get that.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, that's a really nice way of putting it. Yes, I think everyone is insecure one way or another. Everyone's been through something, and you always have to ask, not what's wrong with the person, but what happened to them. Something has happened to all of us, and it's how we deal with that and what choices we make and what lessons we learn from that. So Unicorns is not a dark song. It's actually a song of hope and a song of love and embracing who you are and what you've been through and where you've come from, and just kind of turning that into light and positivity and spreading the joy, spreading that positivity. And not feeling like you stand out because you're damaged, but actually feeling like, we're all damaged, so we're all one and same.
Yeah, I know. And the song itself is as you say, Unicorn. It's a song of hope. It talks about dark times and recognize by shining a spotlight on those dark times and saying, look, you're not alone. We all suffer. We are all damaged. If you recognize that, there's hope. So when I say it's dark, it's the dark sort of understanding and the recognition that there are dark times for all of us.
Yeah.
It's okay not to be okay.
Yeah, exactly. Like Jessie J said, it's okay not to be okay.
Well, I say that it's got to be good, because I think that's the other thing in lockdown is that a lot of people have had those very, very dark moments. Mental health is a big thing, and I'm a big advocate of mental health and talking about those sort of issues. And you share that, as you say, you need to be in a difficult place in order to be inspired to write. And they talk about, and you're the epitome, if you like, of this sort of thought, is that you need to be the starving artist, the artist in a difficult place, to get those creative juices flowing.
Yeah, that's a really good point, actually, because I remember someone said to me, oh, you're never going to make it as a singer-songwriter because you're too comfortable. You're a comfortable, kind of secure lawyer, And I think that's a very narrow, materialistic way of looking at things. It's not money that fulfills us. you know, it's people, it's you know, love at the end of the day. So I think that it doesn't matter that I'm a lawyer. I'm still a human being, and I still go through.
Lawyers can be human beings as well. I love
exactly.
that.
Lawyers cry too. Lawyers cry too, and you know, I think whatever your profession, you're growing, you're learning lessons. You know, you get knocked down, you get up again, and so I think you can still be kind of starving, but in different ways, not necessarily materialistic ways.
Now, you've collaborated with a lot of people, even in lockdown. You were talking about collaboration around the world, and you talk about this wonderful technology, how that can unify us. Talk to me about The Sea is Calling.
So Sea is Calling was a tune that I started writing in 2017. You know, it started, as all my songs, everything starts out as piano and vocals, a ballad, and then, you know, I find a great producer and they give it that lift, that energy boost. So with Sea is Calling, I actually recorded part of it in Rio with a producer called Rodrigo Campello. I did
say that so well. I think you have to be able to roll your R's to pronounce a name like that.
Yeah, I can roll my R's because Russian is my mother tongue. But but that was a very short session because we just finished another tune that we collaborated on, and it was called Do You Ever? And it's a very Latin tune. I'm very, very proud of it because it's got that Brazilian vibe, but mixed in with kind of Russo-Ukrainian, you know, ballad, love ballad. So Rodrigo did a fantastic job on that track, and I was really keen in this short time that I had in Rio to record Sea is Calling with him as well, but we just ran out of time. We didn't have time. So, but the kind of the bare bones of the track were laid, and then I was sitting in my computer, and then during lockdown, I connected with a producer in Russia called Alex Hardram, and he listened to the tune and he was really inspired by it, and he talked me through what he would do to it, and I loved the ideas. So that's the result of that collaboration. And I loved working with Alex so much that I recorded All For You with him as well, and all of this was done remotely. So I did the vocals in my bedroom, the piano in my living room, and then sent him the files, and then he added the rest, and that's the result.
And it's a fantastic way of doing it. Both of them are acclaimed producers in their own right. How did you find working remotely? I mean, a lot of people, they get the vibe, and they, as we discussed in your time in St Andrews and your times at Cambridge, you bounce off each other very, very well when you're physically in the same room. When you're not doing that, how did you find that transition?
Well, you still bounce off each other, like we're bouncing off. I feel, you know, we've got a good banter going.
A good bounce.
You know, so we did Zoom calls.
I could challenge you for that cup.
Let's go. I'll invite you to my club. I'm now at the Cumberland, so
I'll
invite you to my club.
And we'll have a game. I love the Cumberland Club. It's got to be good.
It's brilliant. So yeah, you just, you know, we had endless calls and video calls, and kind of it's very easily done. People, like I said, people are very adaptable, and you always have to make the best out of the worst situation. And I think, you know, remote recording proves that it's possible. So I actually like recording at home because I can do it when I'm in the mood, you know, not because I'm pressured because I've got a 5 p.m. appointment on Monday, you know, at X studio. I do it when I'm ready. And that's what I love about home recording. And, you know, in the future, when I have my mansion, you know, with my tennis court and my swimming pool, I'm definitely going to have a private studio. And then I'll just, you know, I won't have to kind of do this thing in the bedroom anymore. But Billie Eilish, she records in the bedroom with her brother, you know, so it's a thing.
Lots of very wonderful, famous people record.
And you know why? Because acoustics in the bedroom are the best.
Yeah.
Because it's, I don't know, something about the bedroom. It's a kind of small and enclosed and isolated.
Oh no,
So
and they do the bedroom, they also do the bathroom because of acoustics. It's a different sort of thing. And all sorts of people, they work in all sorts. Everybody sings in the shower. So
I don't think it would sound sexy if I said I record my songs in the bathroom.
But
I don't think that would go down well somehow.
It's all good. So you have to be in a certain mood when you're writing. You say you have to be in a sort of fairly dark place trying to deal with things. What about when you're recording? How do you have to feel for that? You say get yourself in the right mood. What's the right mood for recording?
Well, to write, it's not about being in a dark place. It's just being kind of open and vulnerable and completely, heart open and just desperate to express whatever you're feeling. It's not necessarily a dark mood. I think it's a little bit higher than that. I think it's between the earth and the sky. It's between the dark and the light place, somewhere in between. So to record, I guess I have to be in the mood, and it's usually a really inspired mood. And the voice needs to be working, and technology needs to be working. And sometimes I light a candle, because I think it raises the vibrations of the room, raises the energy. And then I just go full blast and feel sorry for my neighbors. But they haven't complained ever yet. So
they love it. This is like a free concert for them. It's got to be good, isn't it?
I am very respectful. I never do it kind of during the night, outside of social hours. So yeah, so that's, you've got to feel inspired. But it's I think it's easier to do it at home. But you do need to get yourself into the mood. You need to get psyched up. Mind you, my producer, he would always spur me on, and he'd be like, have you done it yet? Have you done it yet? Have you done it? So it does help to have that encouragement as well.
And are you more a carrot or a stick sort of person?
I think a healthy mix of both. Yeah. If you're talking about my lawyer job, probably a healthy mix of both. I thrive on praise, absolutely, performance reviews, things like that. But I can also take constructive criticism. I've taught myself to do that. It's fine. It's okay now.
You say it's okay. I mean, it's human nature, though, isn't it? To be fair, and I have lots of artists, lots of friends, obviously in the profession, on both lawyers and also artists and various other things. And it's always, you can have 99 brilliant reviews, but you get one sort of rubbishy one.
Yeah.
That's the one you focus on, isn't it?
No. I think with time you learn that it's okay not to be liked by everyone, and it's okay not to like everyone. And I think you put yourself out there. That means that you expose yourself to the risk of receiving some bad reviews, some thumbs down. But it's okay. It's okay. I think it comes with the job, doesn't it?
Oh, and it's a great attitude to have. I know a lot of people, they have the different approach. They do, sadly, focus on the negative things, but your approach is absolutely right. You should just look at the good things. And I always say, it used to be, you can try to be loved by everybody, which is impossible. And you can be Mr. or Mrs. Cellophane and just sort of go along in the middle and blancmange. Yeah. Or you can go to the other things where people really love you, but it's rather like a seesaw. People really love you. The other people are going to really hate you. And if you work on that basis that you're not going to convert them, then you're probably okay, aren't you?
Well, what is love? Love is to be understood above all, and to be accepted. And I think a lot of people, they are misunderstood, and we misunderstand people, and we misunderstand situations. So that's all it comes down to. I think love itself is always there, but it's the misunderstandings, and misunderstandings, they often stem from people's own projections, insecurities, wounds, whatever they've been through. So I think the bridge is trying to understand someone, even if they're very different. But not everybody has the time to kind of stop and trying to understand the other human being. But maybe we should all make time for that.
I agree. I mean, I think there's nothing worse. Perception and reality are very rarely aligned, and people come with their own prejudices and so on and so forth. But it's communication, isn't it? And if you're turning around, Valentina, and turning around and explaining to people, actually, that's not me at all. This is who I am.
Well, I think that's where the songwriting comes in for me, because I'm not okay with just kind of moving on and without deciphering, you know, the detail of what could have gone wrong. I like to kind of analyze, maybe over and analyze, and I think my songs are a way of doing that, kind of a conversation with the past and trying to make sense of something or someone and trying to understand. I think for me, songwriting is that process of trying to understand.
But
and above all, trying to understand myself.
No, absolutely. But it's those very raw and honest lyrics, is what I was saying earlier. They translate because people can relate to that. The fact that you are so open about what clearly have been difficult times in the past, and love life and moving and so on and so forth, whether from Odessa and being pulled out of that sort of situation, though, and the dark times in banking, all of those sort of things have been inspirational for you to say, hang about, this is how I'm going to help myself, if you like, and convert that into a song. So you paint those wonderful pictures.
Yeah, that's a very good way of putting it. Yeah.
I should write your sleeve notes, shouldn't I, for these self-published albums and things like the third album. What are we going to call it? Bond, double O Heaven, we could call it.
It's going to be called something Bondy, but I don't want to give it away just yet.
I know.
There'll definitely be the word Bond in it.
Oh, good. Title. Brooke Bond. It could be sponsored by tea bags and things like that. It should be. We can make that all make sense. Now you're working.
But you should definitely write my review.
It's easy. It's wonderful. Lots of praise. It's brilliant. It's got to be not enough unicorns. You want more of those.
Great.
I want another animation. I love that sort of stuff.
Have you listened to the song "For Every Kiss, 1,000 Lies"?
I have. It's wonderful. I love that sort of stuff. Is that true? What was the story behind that?
Oh no, I don't want to go into the story, but that song really resonates. That song, everybody loves that song. Everybody dances to that song. Everybody sings back the lyrics, you know, and that song is a really harsh dissectomy of a relationship gone wrong, you know, of a breakup, painful breakup. I always hope that people would get more excited about the happier tunes that I write, you know, the love songs, you know. But no, it's that song that everyone always calls out for at gigs. Yeah. People just can't get enough of it.
Oh, but absolutely, and you know why? Is because does the world need another love song? What the breakup songs, and there's been that big focus, which is really, really interesting. Because you have every sort of say, I love you, love you do, all that sort of stuff, fantastic, and lots of brilliant songs written about the positive side of it. The damage and the hurt that people feel, actually, there's really powerful emotion.
Yeah. And I think that sad songs and the breakup songs, they have more beautiful melodies. They tend to have more beautiful melodies and more emotion. And the happy tunes tend to be kind of, they just don't move you that much, or not in the same way. You know, you're not going to have goosebumps and tears in your eyes listening to a happy song. You're just going to get up and dance, right? But the sad songs, they do kind of give people goosebumps, and that if you can awaken that emotion in someone, you kind of feel a little bit powerful at that point, you know, and it's nice.
So when you get these requests, I mean, you move people because they relate. It's what the sort of the common theme of your songs. People relate to those moments, and it is that brutal honesty, but it's also the honesty to sometimes share those experiences. Say, look, everybody goes through this. It will, I mean, it's chapter. It won't necessarily, this won't be the last time it's a miserable experience, but you can get something positive out of it. And this is how I coped. What's your coping mechanism? Is it just writing songs, or how else do you cope?
Yeah, I'm not revengey, you know, I'm not vindictive. I don't wish people ill. I don't kind of fester. I don't fester. I forgive very quickly. But to reach that level of forgiveness, I do need to let it all out. And I think, you know, the song "For Every Kiss" or "Over," I've got another breakup song called "Over." I think those songs was just my way of getting the emotion out and just moving on. So that's what I do. You know, that's my revenge, a song.
Revenge song. Well, people do that, but you don't really name names too much, do you?
No, of course not.
So what do you say? Of course not. Lots of people do. I mean, the world
Really?
is populated. Oh, absolutely. The world is populated with songs talking about "You're So Vain" or whatever it happens to be, and they will turn around. You probably think this song is about you. All those sort of things, and people are naming and shaping and using those sort of songs to make that make sense.
That's funny because I did have an ex pop up from university who said to me, "Oh my God, I've listened to your songs and I'm so sorry I caused you so much pain." And I was like, "Oh my God, they're not even about you." You know? I was so amused by that email. You know, I'm sure a lot of my ex-partners listen to my music and think that the songs are about them. And it's human, isn't it? But
that's why that line is so brilliant. "You're so vain, you probably think this song is about you." But the irony of that is, of course, it is.
Yes, it
that sort of stuff. So
unfortunately, it's not my line, Andrew.
I know, I realise that. I know, it's got to be good. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. Interesting as well. I mean, are you in a happy place at the moment?
Yes, I'm. You know, I've got a lot of good stuff happening. I'm moving jobs.
You're moving from Amazon, do they know?
Well, Amazon's secondment is coming to an end. I've had a really good run here. It's a fascinating place, amazing place to work. I'd love to come back. It's I've been working on their EU Green Deal, kind of green growth strategy and sustainability. So they're really, you know, doing their best to do the right thing. So it's been fascinating to work with them. But I'm joining a new law firm in September, so I'm really excited. I'm starting a new job, new chapter.
Which one are you joining?
I'm leaving CMS. It's called Watson Farley Williams.
Oh yeah, very good. Another fine firm.
Watson Farley Williams.
Yeah, I know. Another fine firm. Very good. And you're going to environmental stuff there as well?
I'm going to be focusing on kind of maritime and energy, ships, and anything to do with the sea is a big love of my life. And you know, not only is it kind of evident in my music and in my lyrics, but also in my daily job. And I'm really interested in all the shipping stuff. So it just felt like the right fit for me, you know, the right move. And I'm really, really excited about going back to the office, because I've been working from home for about 15 months now, and it's starting to get to me because I'm a very sociable person, and I love banter and, you know, just kind of being around people. And yeah, it's been challenging, I have to say, but I'm sure it has been for everyone. And like I said, music got me through. Music, writing got me through. Tennis got me through. My friends and family got me through. But yeah, I think it will be nice to get back to some kind of normal. And yeah, I'm excited about this new chapter. So yeah, things are good. I'm very happy, you know, looking forward to my holiday, my summer holiday. I don't know whether you have any plans to get away, but
I'm going to visit every country that voted for us in the Eurovision Song Contest. So.
Oh,
that's
yeah, sad.
What about you? Where are you going to go? Where are you going to go on your holiday?
I think I'll go to Greece.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I love Greece. So I'll visit some of the islands and, you know, just get that annual dose of sea and sun and relaxation just before I jump into the new job.
Oh, fantastic. So, what date do you start?
Well, 6th of September I start.
Where are their offices? They're sort of not too far from here either. You can walk every day.
Appold Street. No, I can't walk. God.
Of course you can. I walk.
Too far.
It's a great
Unless you're willing to drive me. No, I think I will.
You think the superstar already? I'm going to go to my new office, but I have me chauffeur driven every day. It's got to be.
Oh, it'd be nice, wouldn't it?
It'd be fantastic. So
one day.
Have you told them? I'm sure you had. Have you told them about your singing career?
No, they have no idea. No. What have I told them about my singing? Yeah. About my plans to be a music superstar?
Yeah.
Not yet. No, I'm keeping that for a special occasion.
Have you told them they have to make you miserable so you can be creative?
No, 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 no. Of course not.
It's really good. Well, looking back, I mean, last few things, it's been an absolute delight catching up. I love your music. I would urge everybody to go and have a listen to this. Also, go back through some of the back catalogues, and when you're performing live again, we'll come along to some gigs. I say we'll just round. We'll come along and see some of those. But looking back over the wonderful time that you've had, what's been your biggest regret?
In my life?
Yeah.
No regrets.
No, everybody has regrets.
What's your biggest regret?
What's my biggest regret? That you haven't told me what your regret is. That's my biggest regret.
Well, I feel like my biggest regret would be not answering this question properly. So let me live with that.
Okay, no, that's okay. That's okay. So what advice would you give a young Valentina Keys coming back from Odessa, starting out on this glorious journey with the lawyering and the singing? What advice would you give yourself?
These are interesting questions. Always look up, always look ahead, never look back.
And is that something which you've done in the past? Have you felt too much focused on the past?
Yeah, I think I tend to look back too much, perhaps, but that comes with the songwriting. So maybe that's part of my destiny, you know. Like I said earlier, I look back, I analyze, I try to understand, and then the song comes out, and then I'm done. So maybe it's part of my journey, but I think it's important to still not fester too much in looking back and to always look ahead, because I think what the pattern I've seen in my life is that everything always happens for the best and happens for a reason. And you can't always see the bigger picture, but then when you do, it's like magical. You realize, oh, wow, that's why it happened, or that's why that didn't work out. And this is, you know, this is all part of the big puzzle, part of the big journey. So you just got to trust, have faith, as corny as that sounds.
Oh, no, it doesn't sound corny at all, because the only reason things sound corny is because this is well rehearsed advice. And talk about advice. What's the best advice anybody's ever given to you?
The best advice, so many, you know. I would say I've been very well advised all my life, and I've had very good role models, both in my family and, you know, just generally.
Who are the general role models? Jeff, head of Amazon, up in his rocket. Is he a good role model for you?
Jeff's built a fantastic company, and, you know, yes, he's a great role model for sure, for many entrepreneurs out there who are starting out in their garages. What a success story. It's very impressive. I'm not sure that, you know, flying into space will solve many problems on Earth, but that's another conversation for another day.
I mean, it is an interesting one, isn't it? Because a lot of people in the press, you'll know about this, they'll talk about the environment, but in the same time talk about sending a rocket up. How do you answer them when they raise those sort of issues?
Well, to be brutally honest, I think there's plenty of problems to be solved, you know, on planet Earth. And I think more money should be, any money that is currently spent on space travel, I think could do a lot of good to, you know, combat climate change, you know, biodiversity loss, poverty, hunger. I think there's plenty of problems that can be solved with that money on Earth. And it would be better if all these rich powerful people directed their money towards something that's actually visible and beneficial and has long-term benefits. So that's my personal view on space travel.
But, but you would never be tempted yourself. You'd rather spend the money.
No.
You'd never go to outer space.
The thought of being stuck in a rocket terrifies me. I
get claustrophobic as well, and the idea.
Yeah.
It's right. I mean,
that's like my worst nightmare, next to being buried alive as well. You know, I think.
do both. But just imagine how creative you'll be. Those songs that would.
Oh God, no! It would kill the will to write anything. I'd just be terrified the whole time. You know, for writing, you have to feel a little bit relaxed as well.
Oh, do you? Okay.
You know, inspired. You can't just. I don't know. I think it would be some horrendous music I would write. Not anything anyone would ever want to listen to. Well, has it not been done before that someone's written a song in space? Didn't someone try this?
I think everybody everywhere has written songs in all sorts of strange places. So you can play Rocket Man, couldn't you? You could be up there. Good old Elton John can tell you all about it. And Ground Control to Major.
Yeah.
You know, space.
I tell you, I have written a few songs on the plane.
Okay, there you go.
I feel very inspired when I'm flying. When I've got a long haul flight, I've written quite a few songs on the plane. I do feel inspired there. Even though I'm enclosed, I do like this feeling of being up in the clouds, and you know, there's so much time to kill that. Yeah, it's a good place to write lyrics, not necessarily music, but lyrics.
Okay. You could recall all this. And your proudest moment? What's been your proudest moment so far?
Talking to you today.
But I understand that. I mean, I get that. I mean, what I love about you, you're brutally honest. It's raw. It's honest. All the other people just turn around and think, well, I thought I would be her proudest moment. Here it comes. Here's my name drop. But it didn't happen. It was the Andrew Eborn show. And I get that. I do understand that. So I'll leave it at that one. But apart from the Andrew Eborn show, there must be something else. What's been your proudest moment?
Honestly, my proudest moment is yet to come. It's yet to come. I know it. I feel it. It hasn't happened yet. I'm still working towards it.
I love that. And finally, how would you, very early in the career, but how would you like to be remembered?
Definitely for my music. Definitely. Hopefully, one of my songs would be the theme song for a TV series or for a film. Obviously, James Bond is up there. You know, I would love to write a Bond tune or one of my songs to be used for a Bond film. That's how I would love to be remembered.
Fantastic. Well, Valentina,
by the world, but obviously friends and family, you know, I just want to do as much good as possible and be remembered for, you know, for the difference, of any positive difference that I'm able to make to someone's day, someone's life.
Fantastic. Well, it's been an absolute delight having you on the show. Oh, good luck with naming the third album. Do come back and tell me, and next time maybe we can get you to come and play something live for us as well.
Sure, I would love to. Thank you. I'd love that.
Thanks a lot for joining us. See you next time.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
So thank you again to Valentina Keys for being my very special guest, full and frank and very honest, but a brilliant insight into her writing process, what inspires her to write, and also a little hint at the joys to come with that third album. We'll get her back. She'll play live again next time, which will be a thrill. We love it when our guests play live. Also, what we love is hearing from you. So if you have any comments or would like to be a guest on the show, write to me at guests@octopustv.com. That's guests@octopustv.com. You can follow me at Andrew Eborn, at Octopus TV, and don't forget to subscribe. We're on all the usual platforms, more platforms than Paddington. But for me, for now, thank you for joining me as my very, very special guests yourselves. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.